Hi, I'm Laurence Robert Cohen, and this is my transformative learning story. See, I left school at 15. To me, school represented repression, conformity, and denial. Yet, here we are, 20 years later. I re-entered school and eventually found myself in the role of a teacher. I brought my original perspective with me, and this time I was determined to liberate my students from oppression and celebrate their differences and individuality. In order to practice and teach transformative learning, I had to experience transformative learning. I needed a trigger event to occur to shake the perspective I held about teaching and learning. So here I was, assuming that my students' experiences and sensibilities would, to some degree, match my past. I thought they would respond as I would to release from oppression. They would undoubtedly feel free and express their freedom through discussions and in their writings. So this assumption went on for a while, but I still sensed that the expansive liberation, the emancipatory, rarely if ever took place. Here's my initiatory event, also known as my trigger. A young woman in my composition class gathered that I was expecting thinking, creativity, honesty, and enthusiasm in class. I responded, "Yep." She then said that she could not do those things. Essentially, if I gave her endless workbooks, lists to memorize, or copying to do, she could pass class. Without thinking, I asked her, "Who told you you were stupid?" She responded, "Mrs. Butler." I went to class later and asked the whole class, how many of you, when you're really honest with yourself, just don't think you're very smart? Almost every hand went up. As Frankel writes, low expectations, "you are dumb" statements distort young people as if they spend their life in a room with a lowered ceiling. I thought about my own experiences. I had failed to persevere my way through high school. I had quit. These students succeeded. If I simply attacked the failure I saw in the system, my students might as well assume that they had failed. If I wanted to create an environment that would encourage transformative learning, I had to base it on the students' positive qualities that the system had denied. Teachers cannot remain the only active member of a class and expect the passive students to transform. Transformative learning and reassessment of the self must come from within. So how do we create a transformative environment? We must first assure students that they have the ability to think. Students long trained in their academic ignorance and inability do not spontaneously think critically. They have to re-examine their basic personal meaning perspectives before they can critically reflect sufficiently to experience a reassessment. The class environment needs to initiate a reassessment of self by bringing students face to face with a reassessment of their own past and present achievements. I cannot simply tell students they are smart. They need to find themselves as individuals and as a class. They need to critically reflect on their lives and the activities of their lives to discover their skills and intelligences. They see the skills required to move through the world and rearrange the structure of the world. Knowing how to manipulate the physical world, to mold, melt, bend, and construct, calls on a myriad of skills all directed by intelligences. The class and a teacher have to stop sending the message, "I am smart and you are dumb." The class and I have to say, "I ain't so smart and you ain't so dumb." So, where do we go from here?